Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Sticky Note Marketing. This is your weekly resource for no frills, just focused action. I'm your host, Mary Czarnecki. If we haven't met before, I'm a marketing strategist, speaker, coach, and consultant. And today I am super excited to introduce you to our special guest. I've got with us here today, Ed Troxell. He is the owner of Ed Troxell Creative and the founder of the Yes to Entrepreneurship Network. He's also, which I'm super excited to dig into, a Facebook Live producer who specifically works with small business owners to connect more with their audience online and grow their business with ease. Welcome, Ed. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
So why don't you give our audience just a quick intro to what you're up to now and maybe a little bit about how you ended up where you are.
Yeah, definitely. So most people know me for removing the tech headaches. A lot of people will refer to me as the guy that makes tech stupid easy. And so I've always run with that, and it's been awesome. And yes, I speak tech and I break it down and make it super simple for everyone. But I've realized over the years that really what I've been doing with all of the work between tech support and creating websites and podcasts and everything is I'm really a producer. And so that's where the Facebook Live producer came from, because I started with live broadcasting when I started my business. I decided to quit my full-time job, go all in this time on entrepreneurship, because before I only did part-time entrepreneurship and part-time work, at a 9 to 5, several of them. And so with this time around, I decided I was going all in, but I knew that if I was going to get out there and I wanted to get noticed, I needed to stand out. And the only way that I could stand out was to go live. And so when I started my business, that's when I started going live back with Periscope and really just creating that momentum and moving forward. So everything that I've done in the past 5 years has all been about going live, getting in front of the camera, and really putting on the production and doing what happens before, during, and after. So that's where Facebook Live Producer has come from, is what my history has been, and the fact that I now only go live on, I go live on Facebook, but then it does stream elsewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that. And I was a big fan of Periscope too. I actually had a small show for a while called Happy Half Hour in Wine Country. So we would go wine tasting.
Oh, that's perfect. And that's where I'm at, is in wine country in Northern California. So there you go.
I know, exactly. We should do like a little tradesy. You can come up to Oregon Wine Country and I'll come visit you.
That would be fun. Oh, that's so cool. And that's the beauty, Periscope was really the kickoff of everything. And we knew that when we were trying to jump on that and get in there, we knew that we were getting ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. And then Facebook came in, and then we realized, okay, Facebook's putting money and energy towards this. We need to start learning this and getting into that. And then that's what's paved the way for me and helped me pave the way for so many other business owners.
I love that. And I love how you are so strategic, because obviously one of my big, things that I focus on with my students and clients is, you need to create your positioning, right? Your unique differentiator. So I love the fact that you've created this, Facebook Live producer as your keystone brand. So tell me, why Facebook? Like, why not go for Instagram or YouTube, or why Facebook?
Yeah, so there's a lot of unpacking to do with that, right? Because a lot of people have this love-hate relationship with Facebook. Listen, I get it. There's days where I'm right there with you. But we have to look at the data, and we have to look at where people are showing up. And Facebook to this day is still the #1 social networking platform. So there's that. And that means that everyone is on it, whether they want to be or not. We also have to look at how Facebook now owns Instagram. So that tells us, again, Facebook is where it's at. And then we have to look at, what is Facebook doing and how often are they doing it? And that means that we have to look at, what updates are they doing? How often are those updates coming out? Who are those updates for? And if we look at that, in just a quick example here, we have to see that, or we would see that Facebook is doing a lot of these updates for business purposes, both for them as well as for us small business owners. So that's a huge indicator of where your business should be showing up. Also, fun fact, when you Google yourself, two things typically will show up, of course, depending on how popular you are and your SEO game is your website and or your Facebook business page.
Interesting.
Hate to break it to you, but your Facebook group is not going to be on that list. And if your Instagram profile is on that list, it's still not going to be like your Facebook business page.
Interesting. That's really interesting. So does that brings just one question to mind, which is when you're creating your Facebook business page, does it need to be your name, or should it be your business's name? Or when you're saying like you Google yourself, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so I mean, it will definitely depend on your business itself. Like for me, sure, my business just includes my name, right? So Ed Troxell Creative, so that's the name of my page. But if I wanted to use my other brand, Yes Entrepreneurship, then I would have that as the title of the page, and then that would just show up in the SEO when anybody's searching for Yes Entrepreneurship on Google. So it really just depends on how your business is structured, but whatever keywords you want to use. And for those who don't know, keywords are just specific words that people would put into Google to try to find whatever it is they're looking for. So that's those keywords that you want to be paying attention to.
I love that. That's a really good tip. And that's fascinating too, because I wonder how many people, do Google themselves and really check and see what is populating. Because, if your clients or potential collaborators are Googling you, you kind of want to see what they're going to be seeing.
Yes. So that's a pro tip. Go Google yourself after this.
Yes, totally. And then I want to hear from everyone. Like, let us know what you found. Awesome. So you mentioned something there that I thought was really interesting is your Facebook page will show up, your business page will show up, but your group won't. So tell me a little bit about, in your experience, page versus group. What does one do for you versus what does the other do for you as a business?
Yeah, so we have to look at Facebook as almost like a folder, right, on your computer. So when we look at the main folder, there's Facebook. Mm-hmm. Then when you open that folder, you have a bunch of subfolders. There's your personal profile, there's your business page, because we're all business owners. And then for some of you, you'll have the Facebook group. So those are all subfolders. And I should back up, because you have your personal profile, your business page, and then underneath that, those two categories, then you would have subfolder, which would be the Facebook group. So it's basically a second or third level. Trying to like visualize it in my head. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like file sorting, right? It's
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I'm like literally trying to picture it in my head. So you got Facebook, and then you got a drop down, which is going to be your personal. And then some of you might just have a group off of that. So that's your third tier. And then some of you are going to have a business page. And then from there, you're going to have a group. So, there's the different levels there. And so that's why groups are great. There's a whole thing going on with groups, but the groups can be great. But understand that that's not going to necessarily help you in your SEO game. So we have to think about your marketing strategy and what it is you're really what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish with that.
Gotcha. I love that. And it's giving each of them a job, right? So kind of knowing where they are in the hierarchy, and then, okay, we know where they live and how they relate to each other, but what does each of them do for us?
Exactly.
So what would you say, so in your opinion, should every business have a page, but not necessarily a group? And if
100%.
Okay, so how do you know if you need a group or not?
That is actually a great question. So let's back up for a quick second. So if you're a business, you automatically, when you sign up for Facebook, you get a personal profile, and then you need to create a business page. That's bare minimum. And then from there, if you choose to have one more thing to add to your plate and are willing to have one more thing to take care of and to be consistent with showing up, delivering, and engaging, which are my 3 core values.
I love that. Yeah, I know.
That's what I teach people. So if you're willing to do all of that and basically have another website to take care of, then by all means, create a group. But if you think that that's a little too much and a little bit overwhelming, then I would encourage you to put the group on the back burner, put it on that someday maybe list, and then anytime that idea comes up, maybe I should have a group, go to that list and write down why. Mm-hmm. What's the purpose of that group? What's it going to do for you? Why do you want a group? Because here's what happens with social media, and all of us business owners fall into this, is that it's free. Free is great. We can learn so much. We can just get as much as we want from it, and it's fine, right? There's a time and a place for it. But the trouble with social media is that it's free to create a group. It's free to create a page. It's free to be on Facebook. And it allows us to then say more, more, and more. And we have that great idea for the moment. Hey, I want to create my own group because I want to empower everyone to do X, Y, Z. And I am not knocking anybody for that because I'm right there with you. We all have a time and a place where we want to shine and we want to help others shine. And it's fantastic. But Facebook groups have become just another thing to add to the list and have just become let's just add a group. And what happens with that is what I call now Facebook group fatigue. Just like we have Zoom fatigue, right? So many people are over being on Zoom. They want to see people in person. It's the same thing with groups. There's a lot of groups out there, and there's a lot of great things that can happen and do happen from them. But if you're a small business owner and you are already struggling with time, money, and energy, and social media and tech are not really your thing, then really, really think about adding that group and don't just jump to do it because you can. Think about it.
I love that. And I love the fact that you're like, it's free, low barrier, high temptation. Yeah. You know, it's like a buffet, right? It's like, yes. Did I really need that 7th fried butterfly shrimp? You know?
Yeah, it's exactly like the buffet. You really have to think about, do you want to fill up your plate, or would you rather put a small portion on your plate, go sit down, enjoy it, give it a minute, and see if you're still hungry, and then go back for seconds. That's right. A perfect example.
Right. And I think it's, you know, the thing I like to get on my soapbox a lot with people is, you know, don't do a whole bunch of different things like halfway, right? Don't be lukewarm in a million different places. It's way better to be a rock star in one core place, and then people will know where to find you too. So yes. I love that. So and tell us, so there's a lot of pushback, and I get a lot of questions from this community about, but no one's seeing my posts on my Facebook business page. So what do you say to that? How can people actually increase that organic reach and make the most of their business page?
Yeah, well, it ties into what we were just talking about and what you just said, where you have to focus. You have to focus. There's a reason why I chose Facebook Live Producer. It wasn't just producer. It wasn't just live broadcast producer or live streaming expert, which any of those could apply. But I specifically said Facebook Live Producer. And that has caught everyone's attention. Everyone I talk to, when people see it, they're like, okay, now you have my attention. Let's talk. What else? What does this entail? What do you do? And then for those who know already, they're like, I need you to come speak. I just got a request to speak at a local college here in October. And it's because they are seeing what I'm doing online, but they're also, I'm being memorable because I'm no longer just, you know, we'll use a random example of, I'm not just a social media manager. Mm-hmm. I'm not just a social media expert, right? There's millions of those. How do I stand out? Well, Facebook Live Producer. So for answering the question of how to get more organic reach, we have to take a step back and we have to look at, one, what are we doing and how are we doing it? Two, where are we showing up and why are we showing up there? And three, really, what is it that we want to do? Like 2020 is a perfect time for reset, right? We've all had to hit that pause button. We've had to hit that reset button and figure out, what do we want to re-invite back into our life, both personally and professionally. And so we have to understand that now is the time to make that pivot, to ask our audience, what do they want from us? To look at what we've put out into the world already and see what has performed well, what has gotten people's attention, what do we actually want to talk about, and what does our audience want to hear from us? And oftentimes we don't know until we ask. So don't assume that they want to know whatever it is that you want to share, because remember, it's about them. And that's what we have to really remember. It's about our audience. It's about our clients and understanding what their needs are. And that's where we can start then tailoring our social media posts, and anything really, but our social media posts to their needs. And then that is what's going to help with our organic reach, because they see and hear what they're already thinking and what they need help with. Therefore, they're more inclined to engage. Remember, show up, deliver, and engage. Those are 3 keys to success. And you can't do one without the other. And they're in an order, a specific order for that reason. You have to show up for your audience. That's the only job you have to get this started. And then from there, you have to deliver something. And once you deliver it, that's when the conversation can start. And that's where that engagement comes in. But remember, engagement is a 2-way conversation. It is not just, hey, I posted this great article, I want you to engage with it, bye-bye. No,
Right.
Like, if people are taking their time to engage, you need to go back and engage with them as well.
I love that, because I mean, you're speaking my language, definitely, for sure, because I'm all about audience insights and entering the conversation that's gone on in their head. And I love looking back at the content I put out to see what's working. And the thing I'm most shocked about is how few business owners actually take the time to do that, to actually go back and say, oh wow, I thought this was gonna go gangbusters and go viral, and it was crickets, versus something that maybe you put out that was not, maybe spur of the moment, or you're putting it out because it was part of your content plan, but it wasn't something you were thinking was going to take off actually does.
Yeah.
So how often do you encourage people that you work with, your clients, to be looking at that kind of metric?
Well, I always encourage testing all the time, because the algorithm, which is what Facebook uses to determine when and where your posts are going to be shown and to who, we don't know what that special formula is, right? And it's constantly changing. And so we as creators, as business owners, our job is to test. We always have to be testing. And when I say test, I mean not only times, not only days, not only content, but types of posts, right? Going back to how do we get more organic reach? Well, first we have to understand what it is our audience wants from us. Then we have to test what types of posts can work best for our audience, whether that's polls, questions, links, going live, pre-recorded videos. Like, there's so many different things, and it can be overwhelming for sure. But the important thing is to just test one at a time and see what happens.
I love that. So obviously you're a big proponent of the lives in terms of those content types. So tell us a little bit about that. Why lives?
Yeah, so Facebook Live is going to be your number one cost-effective way to market your business online for free. We have to remember that Facebook is a business, and even though it's free for us to enter, there's ways that they try to get money from us. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's a pay-to-play platform. I don't like Facebook, I'm going to go elsewhere. And when they say pay-to-play, they mean that you have to pay for ads in order to get your posts seen. And that's not true. What's true is you have to actually do the work to find out what content resonates with your audience and be able to continuously show that to them and engage with them, right? And so part of helping that organic reach is going to be going live. And the reason why goes back to what we talked about earlier with paying attention to what the platform, in this case, Facebook, is doing and what they want from us. So Facebook gives us this free admission. We have our business page, we can post, we do all this free advertising for our business. But if we look at what Facebook really wants to see from us is they want to keep people on their website. So they don't want us sending people away. And they want people to go live. They want people to use the Facebook Live feature because it goes back to number one, which is keeping people on the platform.
Makes sense.
So we have to look at that, and then that's when the light bulb goes off in our head and says, well, if I really want to reach my audience and I want to do something that's going to get more engagement, I probably should do a Facebook Live because that's what that's what Facebook is requiring or would like to have, and that's what's going to help boost my posts organically without paying for ads.
And I mean, Facebook's smart too, in that they're constantly looking at people's digital body language. They know that video is attractive to the large swath of the population. So it's not like they've chosen lives as this random type of content that they're forcing everyone into, right? This is actually based on their intelligence, and in a way is kind of guiding us to be like, look, this is working right now with people. Go here, do this. Is that right? Or is
100%. And that's what we have to realize too. You know, I can only speak for at least the last 5 years. Is that we constantly see video is continuously increasing in demand, just with video in general. And over the years, it has transformed, right? We've seen that different platforms include this live feature. Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn a little bit, Instagram. Like, we have to pay attention to these huge networks because remember, they're the big ones that we have to pay attention to. It's not just, a mom and pop shop down the street. This is the corporations that we are looking at. And we need to see what are they doing and what do they want us to do? Does that apply to what we want to do, right? Because not everything that, Facebook wants us to do is something we will do. But in this case, if we're trying to increase our organic reach, and we know that Facebook will help us if we use Facebook Live, then that means we need to go live. And we also have to understand that it's going to do so much more for our business, not only in organic reach. I mean, listen, the vanity metrics are great, views, likes, shares, comments, like all that stuff has a time and place, and it does add up, of course. But in reality, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make an impact. You're trying to reach your ideal audience and connect with them and be able to create that impact together. And so that's what video allows you to do. It allows you to be live. It can be scary, I know, but it allows you to be live so that you and your audience can connect. You're relatable. It's just as if I saw you walking down the street, and stopped you to have a conversation. You might have been just coming out of the gym, super sweaty and in yoga pants and whatnot. And here I am, suit and tie walking by, and it's like, hey, I know you, Mary, stop, let's talk. It's the same idea when it comes to live, right? We're over the whole, everything has to be perfect and pre-recorded and scripted. No, we don't want that. We want the realness. We need the realness.
Yeah, and I love that because it's, especially even people who are used to more polished, corporate environments, they've got kids and dogs underfoot, and, it's a little bit more of this real human interaction, which, is a silver lining on this crazy cloud. So.
Yes, and with this whole COVID thing going on, it's allowed all of us to be pushed into that direction of, okay, I got to be on video, whether I like it or not. We're not being pushed to go live necessarily, but it allows us to get in front of the camera so that we can get a feel for this and understand that, yeah, our house isn't going to be perfect. Our rooms aren't going to be perfect. There's somebody that's going to walk by naked or run and scream, or the dog or the cat, things will happen, and that's okay. And so this is warming up everyone to, now you can go live.
Yeah.
Now you can do this.
Remove the fear, just let it go.
Yeah.
You're just like everyone else. Everyone's worried about it too.
Yes. And I'll tell you, some of the best lives I've had are ones that, I mean, I don't really script my things. I mean, usually when I go live, it's like 5 minutes beforehand. Okay, what do we want to talk about today? All right, let's go. But especially in the beginning, I would do a little bit more. And so for me, some of the best lives have been when something happened by accident. I dropped my phone. I didn't really know what I was saying, but I made it a joke and I just explained, I had something, but my mind, because that's what happens. Sometimes I'm in that zone and I'm so fired up and I'm like, yeah, give me just a second. I got to catch up. My brain is like 5 feet ahead and I'm still, it's like stage 3. I got to get there. It happens. It's human. Remember, we're working with people. People like to buy from other people.
Well, and that's the thing is I think you make a really valid point, which is that, especially for those of us we're not looking to be Procter & Gamble. We're not looking to be, to sell millions of units of widgets. We're looking to create connections. I mean, even if we're trying to build an audience of hundreds or thousands, I mean, it's not billions, we're trying to reach a core group of people. And at that point, it is a human to human reaction. So yeah. I love that. It's a really great point.
Small and mighty.
Yes, small and mighty. Totally. That's what my husband says about me. So.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. I think you dropped some real knowledge bombs on people. And I know you have a couple extra fun things to announce. So would you mind telling us a little bit about your new course as well as the free gift that people can check out?
Yeah, for sure. So anybody who's interested, I have 2 amazing trainings available for you. One is a quick 30-minute free training around Facebook and having your Facebook page updated. It's 3 ways that you can really just update these super specific spots so that you can then increase your sales from your page. And so that's free, 30 minutes, good to go. And then I have my new Business Gone Live course. And inside Business Gone Live, that's actually where I teach you how to use Facebook Live to increase your organic traffic and to connect more with your audience. And I literally show you everything from going live on your phone to going live on the desktop, using the easiest, simplest software and being able to break that process down. I even work with you on creating your content so that you basically are creating your own live TV show. That's the goal, is that when you're done, you're gonna have your own live series and actually be ahead of the curve because you are now gonna have your own show. And I will drop another tip here, is that Facebook actually just announced their new Facebook Shops, which is going to be amazing. It's still rolling out at the time of this, but I want to mention that there's going to be soon live shopping, which means when you go live, you'll be able to sell just like QVC. So this course, Business Gone Live, is getting you ahead of the curve, and you are definitely going to be able to come out with so much amazing knowledge. And there's no fluff. Like, I'm all about, let's do it. Here's how you do it. And you got it. So like, that's just how it goes. So I'm super excited about the new program and for others to be able to dive into that.
I love that too. And you and I are on the same page. My tagline is no frills, focused action. So we're all about like, let's detox the stuff we don't need and let's just on what's going to make the difference. Especially
when it comes to courses, it's one of those things that this is a comprehensive course that has everything broken down, and it's not, by the way, here's another bonus. And people can't get through it. It's like, no, this is laid out specifically for you, and you are going to make it through, and you're going to know how this stuff works. Like that's something that I haven't really seen in courses, especially the ones that I've looked at and done. So I'm excited about it.
No, I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I will make sure to include both of the links to the free training as well as Ed's course here. And then as well as some other ways to get in touch with him if you'd like to learn more about how he could help you or your business thrive and grow and connect with your audience through Facebook Live. So thanks again, Ed. I really appreciate it. Any parting thoughts for our crew here?
I just want to say thank you. And I know that we covered a lot here and it's probably going to be overwhelming. And you're going to leave being super pumped, but not knowing where to start. And I want to just say, just start. Show up, deliver that information, and engage with your audience.
I love it. Awesome. That's perfect. Thanks again, Ed. And I will see you guys all next week on the next episode of Sticky Note Marketing. Cheers.